Welcome everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm John. We are not playing Wukong. We are not playing Wukong. What we're doing is we're going to talk about Wukong post-win, okay? Or post-completion. Here we go. I actually wrote down some notes, man. I wrote down some notes. Kind of a lot of notes too. So I need to put my glasses on for this. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today is Wednesday when I'm recording this, and I don't mind Wednesdays, especially, when things are going your way. Right now, things are going my way. Yeah, pretty good. That doesn't always happen. Anyway, so Wukong, going into the game, I didn't really have any expectations at all. I saw that there were like a ton of bosses. I saw the word Souls-like. That's not even a word, but you know what I mean. I didn't see any gameplay trailer. I didn't read any reviews. Nothing. I just bought the game. I'm like, let's play it. Played it on the channel. And it was not a lot like a Souls game, but combat was really tight. That's the first thing that I noticed about playing this game was how tight the combat was. It reminded me of Bloodborne responsiveness in my character's reactions, my character's dodges. And then the weird thing was there was no parry. There was no shield. What the fuck? What do I do? I don't know what to do, right? I'm a Souls guy. I played FromSoft games. Where's my shield? Where's my parry? There aren't any. Okay. Let's see how this is going to work, but it's going to suck. Part of me said, it doesn't suck. Oh no. So, combat tight. Let's go over the good stuff, okay? So, if you do like these types of FromSofty games, you're gonna like this game, because really, the part about this game, if you're a Souls player, that you may not like is probably the same thing that I didn't really like. I didn't mind it though. So we'll get to that. But that's, I think, what if you like playing FromSoft games, you're probably going to focus in on that a little bit. And really you shouldn't, because it's not a FromSoft game, right? The fact that it has a little bit of the tight combat is a good thing, is a very fortunate thing for the game. Now, there were a zillion things about this game that were great. Sorry about that. Let's see here. So overall, the bosses were awesome. All of the bosses were good in some way. Okay. Now, they had the bosses at the end of the chapters. Those were really good. Some of them were challenging, some of them not so much. But overall, bosses, they can't all be hard, right? You had those frog bosses. They weren't that difficult. There was the cool two bosses at one time thing a couple of times. And then it kind of got a lot more challenging. Bosses with different phases, like Tiger, or the dude at the end of chapter, what was it? I can't remember that guy's name. I didn't write that one down either. Damn it. So the long guy, Loong, the one with the lightning, yellow long, he was challenging, and I did a lot. But one of the great things, and I'm sort of merging all these things together, one of the great things about this game, is the way that they go about supplementing your character's sort of like strengths. Okay. Sort of like, okay, you don't just go in it with your strength, dexterity, vitality, charisma, whatever, arcane stats. You don't go into it with that. You go into it with gauges, and you get a moderate and boost to this or moderate boost to that. And it's a visual thing. You see your little meters go up when you get that stuff. Great. But then you have these skill points, and these skill points are like, well, you can get more health if you want, and you see the health meter go up, so that's what you should do, right? More health, good. FromSoft game, more health, good. Not a FromSoft game. You find yourself doing the coolest shit. You find yourself against a boss that you may be having a little bit of a difficult time with. And so you can just reallocate those points. So you're like, man, this guy is, this guy is just doing so much damage to me. He's so fast, I can't even get too many hits in. Well, I can freeze him, but he only freezes for a little bit, and then I have to wait for a while. But I can invest those points that I did earlier from survival, like the health ones and stamina recovery bullshit, into the freeze thing. I can't remember what it's called now. Immobilize. I can invest them in Mobilize, and suddenly my Immobilize is lasting longer. Not only that, but like it couples with other stats. The tree is really cool. The trees of all of them are pretty cool. Okay, I really didn't have much use for the duplicates. I tried them; they just didn't really want to stay around very much. So I know I probably needed to do something different with that. But the point is that you're able to do that. So it doesn't just stop there. So you're against a boss. Say you're against that last dude, second to the last dude. Sort of the secret boss. What's his name here? Let me see what it is here. Not the Great Sage's Broken Shell. That was the last boss. Erlang, the Sacred Divinity. He was an epic boss battle, man. That had great visuals. That was a fun fight, but it was also like you needed to figure out a way to get that shield down. Now it's not a shield. Evidently, it's poison. It's a poison meter. You need to break his poison, stagger him, and then you can start doing damage to him. And then he reestablishes his poise, and then you have to do it again. Turns out, if you use the fan, the whole fucking poise meter goes away, right? But you can't use the fan very often because uses your chi or key or chi. Cheese. It uses your chi. So the problem is, how do you get that back? Well, you need to like hit the guy, and then you start getting it back. But you can invest in skills that get it back faster, and you can also switch your gourd to the gourd where you get some chi every time you drink. And it's not just a little bit, it's a lot of it. So then you're like, oh my God, this is great because now I can cast a tornado more. Yes, that's the key to victory. It was for me. It was for me. Now, you guys are probably better at the game. I'm not really very good. But that was key for me. That was key. Now, there's other parts about it that, that may or may not be relevant to that particular boss fight. So that particular boss fight, maybe you didn't want to switch up your armor, which is another great thing. The armor had abilities that you almost didn't even bother looking at the armor rating. It's not armor rating, but you know what I mean. The defense rating on the armor, rather than what the armor's bonus did. So when you're fighting the last guy, Erlang or whatever, you're in water. There's the serpent armor set, that when you're in water, it will slowly recover your hit points. That's fucking phenomenal in that boss fight. That saved me. Because I could and the dude just like strutting around like a fucking strutter, right? He's like, look at me, I'm big bad motherfucker. And you're like, fine, dude, strut all you want, I'm getting my health back. It only goes to like halfway, but still, it saves so many pots doing that. So I love the way that they said, hey, you know what? You're not going to get base stats. You're going to get items and things that you can use, pots, curious items, the gourds, the different armor sets, and you can use them to even the odds in the battlefield when you're facing whatever boss. It was huge. There's a couple of those curious items that like work together. It was really cool too. Oh man, so good, so good. All right, so the bosses, yes, great variety of moves, great variety of bosses. I mean, they recycled some bosses like the frogs, the poison dudes near the end there, blah blah blah. But that's okay. I mean, there's 110 bosses or some shit, so there's going to be some recycling going on there. They gave them a few added extra features, which I thought were really cool. They had a couple extra moves. They could do this now and not that. They could like immobilize themselves. They could do rock solid all of a sudden or whatever. Pretty cool. I like that a lot. So when I was going through though, the bosses, when I was thinking about them before I got on and wrote this down, I was thinking to myself, what else were the variety of moves for the boss, the variety of special moves the boss has, whatever. That's the thing you notice right away, right? But they also used like all of the banes, right? They call those banes like ice and fire and poison, right? You fought bosses that used all of them. And so it didn't really get to a spot for me where that actually made a difference, raising my bane resistance to whatever that was. That really didn't do anything for me, except lightning. Lightning resistance and the pot and the little curious item fucking saved me. All those longs, whatever those fucking longs are, those dragons, they all had lightning. And it took off a lot. When you got thunderbolt damage or thunder damage or whatever that was, the meter goes up and you take thunder damage. Oh my God, sucked. So another cool thing about, trying to neutralize that, get things back even, you do take damage, but it's not as much. So that was just so good, man. It was so good. So the last boss was probably actually the hidden boss. The Erlang guy, the human guy, I think that was my favorite boss fight. I think. The last guy, it was all right. The other thing that I didn't really see from these bosses was cheese. Okay, it didn't. I don't recall right now a lot of like theatrics from the bosses. Now, I'm not talking about the stupid godlike ones, which I thought that part was dumb, and that's in my negative section. But if that's in my negative section, there's not much else going to be there, man. It was the God of War type, theatrical fights or whatever. Where you hit him and like a planet blows up or something. It doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't. I don't want that. I want a tactical battle. That's what I want. I want to be fighting Ishin. I want to be, you know what I mean? I want to be fighting this Erlang guy. That's what I want. I want fights like that. Not, when you're so powerful, you punch me and a planet explodes. I don't give a shit. Okay, so there's that. Now, going along with the whole idea of all the different ways that you have to counteract what bosses are doing, you also have the consumables, like the medicines or pots that you make. And I'm honest to say that I don't know, other than poison or bleed a little bit in a FromSoft game, poison definitely, especially in Dark Souls 3. But I would never use that shit. I just never used any of the mats, any of the crafting materials or anything. And I will be happy to say I used a shit ton of pots in this game. I did. Since against some of these harder bosses, one of the things that I didn't really enjoy was when I fought the long bosses, the dragons with the fucking lightning shit. I did not know how long, get it? the anti-lightning thing lasted. Now, my guy is like shimmering, right, when you drink it. I don't know if that shimmer stays, and when the shimmer goes away, if that means it went away and you need to repot. I don't know that. So it would have been cool to have a meter, but I don't. That's not a knock on the game. I'm just saying, like, it shouldn't be that finite, right? If you die from Thunderbane or whatever the hell that thing's called, because you missed drinking the pot, you might be angry about that. But it didn't never happen to me, so I'm not really going to harp too much on that point. Just saying. I did die from Thunderbane a lot, though, but not because I didn't have the pot on. All right, so there aren't really very many bad points at all. Okay. The worst thing about the game to me was okay, so you have to understand, if you watch my videos, you know I can't follow fuck all in games. I don't know if I can't follow fuck all in stories. I mean, I can follow The Last of Us. I can follow Horizon. Because they tell you what's going to happen, right? This game, it was as if, okay, it was as if I was going through the game. Say we started a chapter, we met some new NPCs. They almost acted in conversation like we knew them, like I should know them, and the things that they're talking about I should already know about. That was weird to me, and you know, in epic fashion too. You know, this god is killing that god, is killing this god, and I'm as powerful as a god. No, I can go down and fight another boss inside another person's body. Like I knew I was supposed to, it came off like I was already supposed to know that I could do those things. Or I knew who that was, or I knew the plot of this, or I knew why this dude was complaining about this or that or the other thing. Where this little dude came that suddenly he was my best friend and followed me around and stuff like that. Well, where'd the other guy go? Where'd the bull guy go? You know? So that wasn't a strong part about the game. It wasn't. I think the areas of the game, the playable areas of the game between bosses was fine. There wasn't a lot because there's a shit ton of bosses, so there wasn't a lot of like normal mobs to kill really. And the points where you had your bonfires were pretty close together, okay, and they stuck them in really good spots for boss battles. So you had really good boss runs. You didn't have to have any kind of Bloodborne boss runs or anything like that. Good or bad, I mean, I'm a little spoiled because I played Elden Ring now. Elden Ring is so easy, man. It's so easy. All the bosses are easy in Elden Ring compared to like the bosses that we used to play against, the boss runs we used to do to get to those bosses. So now they in these games, they have a lot of like grand, I don't know what you want to call it. A bunch of shit happens, like in Elden Ring, at the end of Elden Ring, where you fight Radahn, right, in phase 2. And I always harp on this, and you guys know, because if you watch the channel, you know. That part where what's his face is like doing the lightning or whatever the fuck. You know, oh gosh, look at everything is lit up and all these fireworks and all this shit. And you can't tell what's happening, right? You don't know where to dodge now, and before where you knew you were safe, you're not safe anymore, and there really is nowhere to go to be safe. Now you may call that cheese, I call it cheese. So I'm right with you. So I don't need that to happen in a fight, right? If you're fighting Melania and she does the thing and you happen to be close to when she does the thing, you're gonna fucking die. Do I need that in the fight? No, the fight is hard enough as it is. Do I fault that fight? Do I think that fight is like the Radahn fight phase 2? Hell no. Because that's beatable. I beat Radahn phase 2. But I beat Radahn phase 2 because I got lucky. I think I just dodged out of the way of things at the right time. Right? My mimic tier just so happened to want to fight all of a sudden instead of just run around and not do anything. Right? So I'm not a big fan of all that in a boss fight, because what that tends to do is it tends to give me the feeling that there's going to be some boss cheese coming, and I want it to be my skill against their skill in a matter of speaking. Say 70-30 skill versus you just so happen to be there at the wrong place. You get hit, but you don't get hit for everything. You're like, fuck, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you can recover. That's good. It's like Owl Father in Sekiro is probably one of my favorite bosses of all time. Because of all of the things that you need to learn from the boss. There's so many things that you need to learn from that boss. And then if you get hit, he takes off 3/4 of your health with one swipe, but you can recover. That's the key. You can recover. There's no cheese to that. You can see when he's about to throw those fireworks at you, right? You can see it eventually. You can see it. And so you can, do what you need to do to get around that. And so that's what I like in the game. And so in this game in particular, I went off on a tangent. I don't see much of that. In fact, I can't even remember any cheese. I can remember thinking, oh my God, boom, 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 I'm dead, right? This is going to be a fucking nightmare. But then after you die a few times and you get frustrated, you start to not attack all of a sudden and panic dodge. Like this game, I felt like I was panic dodging a lot early on. And what you do is you start watching and learning, like in a Margot fight or whatever from Elden Ring, or any of the Lady Maria fight, right? As soon as you start doing that, as soon as you start taking a breath and realizing what these bosses are trying to do, you can combat them. Now, in this game in particular, what I love is you can combat them with a lot of gear, consumables, your armor, your weapon, the little what are those little things called? Those little curious things, the gourd, the soaks, all of these things, the spells, cloud walk or whatever the fuck. That's so good, man. In that last boss, Cloud Walk saved me. It saved me. Cloud Walk was wonderful. So you take all your points out of certain areas and you dump them in, and it's no problem. In this game, it's no problem. Oh, respect, boom, doesn't cost you a dime. Take all these stats out of the regular survival tree, shove them all in transformation and this other thing, and then boom. And then there's that too. There's the transformation. There's the special ability of the spirit that you have. And the big fucking dude with the head that you headbutt that I beat that boss on, that was fucking epic. I headbutted that fucking boss to death. So good. So good. So, dudes, this game is good. It's good. Let's look and see if I have a bad point. Oh yeah, I did. The plot, right? I don't get it. It's just not my thing, man. It's fine. It's fine. The epic style boss fights, yeah. Oh my gosh, is that all I have on my list? That is all. We have covered everything that I have on my list. Okay, so the last bit is actually not a knock on the game. Okay, so there's a lot of secret areas in this game. Maybe not a lot. 1 per chapter, so 5, 6 secret areas. I was okay with some of them, like finding it, but I seriously needed help from one of my friends who played this game. I needed a big fucking hint to get that last one, man. How are you supposed to know that? It's like when you're playing Bloodborne, how are you supposed to know that you need to hold up that pose at the brain for 30 full seconds? How are you supposed to know that? I have no idea. In this game, how was I supposed to be able to find that last boss? Or it wasn't actually finding the last boss. It was knowing the criteria that needed to happen for me to get to it. Because I knew something was there, right? Because you go into an area and there's nothing there, right? And you're like, oh, come on. Come on. But then it doesn't happen unless you do certain things. So anyway, that's all I got, man. This is a good game. We won't be playing it again, at least as far as I know. We won't be playing NG+. For now. Okay, we have a couple of things coming up. We have Silent Hill 2, which I've never played any Silent Hill games, so I have no idea what that's going to be like. I'm still playing Horizon. We're getting back to The Last of Us. What else is there? There's actually another game that I was playing that I can't remember offhand now because I've been playing so much Wukong. There's a Switch game coming out, a Zelda one. We might check that out too. I think it comes out tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So we may pick that up, and I don't know if we'll play it all the way through, but we'll try it out, see what's what. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Wukong is a solid 8.5, 9. 8.5 out of 10 for me. 8.5, 8, 8.5. Okay, there it is. 8, 8.5 for me. It's definitely worth playing through again, but we got a shit ton of games. Oh yeah, there's another Alan Wake DLC coming out. Fuck, how great is that? I can't wait to play that. All right, guys, please subscribe. See you soon.